This is called Magenta Plant. It's just growing in the garden amongst the other plants. But it has a secret. Sometimes it flowers. It has little tiny flowers which are magenta coloured. But that's not the reason it gets its name Magenta Plant. And I'll show you what the secret is. It's quite magical. Lovely green leaves. I've just put those magenta plant leaves into a see-through container which is heat proof. And now I'm going to pour hot water on it and wait for a while. Probably I might use the magic of time lapse to see what happens. Look at that glorious and surprising magenta colour that comes from this little green plant. Water in a pot. And add the magenta plant, which is being washed. And then that's just going to get brought to the boil and boil for 8 to 10 minutes. So now this is boiled for 8 to 10 minutes. Turn off the heat and strain out the liquid. Which is now turned a dark magenta colour. We can discard the leaves, and now we have our magenta liquid ready. So you're supposed to use sticky white rice. We've only got normal long grain white rice. I'm going to put a cup of that, about a cup, into the magenta liquid and let that soak for a while until it changes colour. After a couple of hours, we strain the rice and you can see the beautiful, natural, purpley magenta colour of the rice. So that's absolutely gorgeous, and you can now use that for a recipe. To let you in on a little secret here. I messed up that last step. You're supposed to add the rice to the magenta coloured water when the water's at room temperature. I did it when it was boiling, so don't do that, right? Just do it at room temperature. The good thing is that it still worked even though I had the water too hot. It really, really worked. I mean, as you can see by the colour of this rice. Next step is to cook the rice, so put some water in a saucepan. Because I don't actually have a rice cooker, if you had a rice cooker it would be best to do it with that. So I'm just going to put water in the saucepan and add my rice, my beautiful purple rice. Try and wash it all in, and then a little pinch of salt, and just going to bring to a gentle boil and cook it until it's ready. So I learned this recipe from YouTube from a wonderful lady called My Basil Leaf Vietnam. I'll put a link somewhere next to this video. I'm a bit new to this, so I don't really know what I'm doing. So anyway, she showed everyone how to make this delicious dish, which is a Vietnamese dish with the Magenta plant, but she doesn't actually give quantities of the ingredients. So I'm just going to kind of wing it here like I wing my life, and going to try it with the coconut cream and the sugar and the magenta rice. I don't have the mango that she uses or the crushed peanut thing, but you know, you can always substitute. I'll give it a go, and I'm sure it'll taste nice. Ready now. Now the rice is cooked. It looks to me like a kind of movie magenta, and the next thing we've got to do is put the other ingredients in. So I'm just going to start with a little bit because I'm not sure of the quantity, and as I say, this should be the sticky rice, sticky sweet rice, but I only had short grain rice, so if I was making it, you know, again, I would use sticky sweet rice because it holds together. Coconut cream. I looked in the cupboard, I've only got light coconut cream. I'm sure heavy coconut cream would be better. So there's that, and sugar. I'm going to mix in a little bit of sugar and a little bit of coconut cream, and it looks really quite delicious. It would be sticking together if it was the sticky sweet rice, but it's not sticking together. But you know what, it's still going to taste good. Now, YouTube lady, she made a beautiful little kind of mold with hers. Again, she's got some really nice cookery utensils. I've got a scone cutter, and it probably won't hold together, but I'm going to give it a try. And there you go. There it is. A little mold of the rice, and I could let that set, I suppose, or I could just risk it. Oh well, that's not too bad. And then garnish something of a nice contrast in colour. Not having a mango on hand, I'm garnishing it with a little piece of mandarin and another piece of mandarin. So that's my take on the Vietnamese dish made with the beautiful Magenta plant. So I guess I better taste it. Okay, here we go. Oh, actually, that is amazing. I'm not kidding. That's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. All right, cheers. Try making some. Who would have thought that this pretty green plant could make beautiful violet coloured rice? Plant extract can also be used to dye cotton material and other plant fibres. I've got a piece of white cotton sheet here. I'm going to dye it with Magenta Plant extract. Now, ideally, this would be heated to 61 degrees Celsius. I haven't got a thermometer, but I'm just going to warm it up. And now that it's warm, I'm going to put in the cotton sheet and let it just sit there for a while, soaking up the colour. In an ideal world, this would be mordanted with ferrous sulfate, which you can buy at hardware stores as a plant fertiliser, iron sulfate. The purpose of the mordant is to keep the dye in the material for longer, to make it colour fast. But also I've heard that you don't actually need a mordant with Magenta Plant extract because it can work without a mordant. So I'm going to try that. The cotton fabric has been sitting in the liquid for about 10 minutes. And so I'll take it out and show you the beautiful colour that it's turned. Now, this is what it originally looked like, and that's the dyed colour, dyed with Magenta Plant. It's a beautiful violet, purpley colour. It's made quite a striking difference, as you can see. So that is using Magenta Plant as a fabric dye. It's really quite easy to grow Magenta Plant from a cutting. So I've taken some cuttings and I'm just going to remove the lower leaves and leave the upper leaves on, and just pop them in a container of clear water. I'm just going to let them sit near a window in a nice sunny position, and over time they will grow little roots, and when the roots are long enough you can pot them, put them in a pot, and I need to break that, and after they've grown healthily in a pot for a while, got big, you can then plant them in the ground if you live in a climate that is nice for them. Here's the jar with some water in it. Now, if you live in a climate that's really a bit too cold, colder than temperate, then you could either keep them in a hothouse if you've got a hothouse, or you could grow them in a sunny courtyard with a lot of brickwork and masonry around, or you could possibly grow them inside, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried that yet. Anyway, that's the Magenta Plant, and there are cuttings ready to make new Magenta Plants. These cuttings have been in water for only about a week, and already they're starting to grow roots. If you look carefully, you can see one here. Are you lucky enough to have access to a willow tree? Willow tree wood contains natural hormones that can be used to increase the strike rate of cuttings that you're trying to propagate. You can make willow water by simply cutting up young twigs of willow and adding them to the water. Natural plant hormones will leach out of the willow wood and encourage root growth. About 10 days later, look how long the roots have grown. And here's a couple of cuttings planted in pots and sitting by the window growing. All in all, it took about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks